necessary things while you are making speech, while you are making international conference. I remember my first conference that was in international conference that was in Spain, I think. Yes, I remember. I was the speaker in that EuroCax. When I entered to EuroCax salon, I have decided to go back to Turkey and don't want to say any word. It was an exciting time for me. For this reason, tonight is really important. And also, I want to say something in Turkish to all my friends, to apologize to Neetu. Just a moment, please. I'll say something in Turkish. That is necessary for tonight. That's not related to our tonight's options. That's extraordinary version. Arkadaşlar merhabalar. Her şeyden önce bugün 10 Mart 2021 güzel bir gün, güzel bir akşam. Bu akşam her zamankinden farklı bir konumuz var. Bu akşamki konumuz doğrudan mesleğimizle ilgili değil. Bugün size bir konuşma nasıl etkin ve efektif yapılır bu konuyla ilgili gerçekten de 2019 yılında İsviçre'de birlikte tanışma fırsatı bulduğumuz Neetu Choudhary'nin davetiyle hatta geliyor. Kendisine de teşekkür ederim. Size güzel bir sunum yapacak. Bugüne kadar biz size hep meslekle ilgili bir sürü şey anlatmaya çalıştık. Mesleğimizde nasıl ilerleriz, neler yaparız diye. Bu akşamki konumuz da önemli. Ama ben size bu akşam farklı bir şey söyleyeceğim mesleğimizle ilgili başarımızı arttırmak için. Ben geçen hafta bu trafik kazası benim için önemli dönüm noktalarından birisi oldu. Bu kazada kullandığım aracın önündeki tüm airbagler patladı. 3-4 tane airbag patladı. Arabadan çıktığımda araç gerçekten pert durumdaydı. Sadece sokumda bir kırık var. Ciğerlerimde ciddi bir ağrı birkaç gün devam etti. Uyuyamadım. Ve hayatı sorguladım. Yani ne başardık, ne yaptık diye. Normalde kaza yerine daha sonra 2-3 defa gittim. Kaza yerine baktığım zaman kazayla ilgili hiçbir şey hatırlamadım. Her gidişinde ben bu kazayı nasıl yaptım diye sorguladım kendimi ve şunu fark ettim. Eğer bir şeyi gerçek anlamıyla yapmak ve başarmak istiyorsanız, hele bizim mesleğimizi yapmak istiyorsanız, gerçekten bir denetçi olacaksınız. Kesinlikle doğru bildiğiniz şeyi yapın. Dürüst olun, namuslu olun ve hiçbir zaman için harama el uzatmayın. Hani bu size bir abiniz, bir arkadaşınız, bir dostunuz olarak verebileceğim naçizane bir tavsiye olabilir. Gerçek bir paylaşım olabilir. Hani ben o araçtan nasıl çıktığımı sorguladığımda gerçekten bunu hissediyorum. Araçtan çıkar çıkmaz alkol 0 çıktı. Bir hastaneye gittim. Hastanedeki tetkiklerde tabii ki kanım tertemiz çıktı. Sizin de takdir edeceğiniz gibi hiçbir şekilde hiçbir bağımlılığım olmadığını herkes bilir. Sigara dahi içmem. Bu bana verilmiş ikinci bir şanstı ve şunu hissettim. Gerçekten de dürüst olmam, namuslu olmam, ne benim, ne ailemin, ne yetiştiren toplumun hiçbir şekilde buna tenezzül etmemesi beni o arabadan çıkarttı. Siz de eğer bir şey yapıyorsanız, kendi adınıza bir şey yapıyorsanız, bu meslekte gerçekten var olmak istiyorsanız en önemli şey yediğiniz her kuruşun helal yollardan kazanılmış olmasına, gerçekten alın teriyle kazanılmış olmasına bakın. Uzun vadede mutlaka kazanırsınız. Benim geçen hafta aldığım dersti. Küçük bir giriş dahi olsa bunu özellikle sizlerle paylaşmak istedim. Bu naçizane sizin de affınıza, hoşgörünüze sığınarak bir paylaşımım oldu. Bugün dediğim gibi çok değerli bir konuk var. Neetu bizlerle beraber. Bundan sonrasında İngilizce devam edeceğim. Welcome Neetu, how are you? You can open your microphone. It's turn off now. Could you turn on your microphone? Neetu is a really good woman, and also I congratulate her Women's Day. It was 2 days ago on March 8th. Congratulations for Women's Day, and also I want to congratulate all of the Muslims Miraç Day. Miraç Kandilinizi de arkadaşlar bugün hepinizin kutluyorum bu vesileyle. Ben sözü daha fazla uzatmak istemem. Now, it's your turn, Neetu. Neetu, you can start. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Shall I share my screen?
Yeah.
Okay, are you able to see it?
Yes, we can see it.
Okay, I'll just minimize this one. Okay, so let's get started. We'll be discussing about the top 10 strategies for public speaking. And the focus will be main on how the subconscious mind perceives and how do we take decisions and how do we perceive the speaker, how a speaker can be more effective using the subconscious traits. So that we'll see today. And thank you so much for Istanbul chapter, and thank you so much for Harry for inviting me. It's such a great pleasure. Okay, public speaking versus death. Do you know that people are more scared of public speaking? People are more scared of public speaking than they are scared of death. It's quite strange. And the best part is that no one has ever died while speaking on the stage, at least because of the fear of public speaking. But still, people are so much scared of public speaking. I'll tell you one of my stories. First time when I went to Europe for speaking in the international conference, and it was my first time. So people told me like a lot of stories that they are very hostile audience. They don't respond. They don't like anything easily. And it was all in my brain. Then I was so much preoccupied with all these thoughts. When I went on the stage, I was just constantly thinking what I have to speak. I should not forget. I should make good impression and all that. Unfortunately, that day there was no moderator available because of traffic jam. That person couldn't reach. So organizers asked me to introduce myself. I went on the stage and I was so preoccupied and anxious. I stood there and I started speaking about my presentation and I finished. And I said, thank you. And after getting down from the stage, I realized, oh God, I forgot to introduce myself. So they even don't know who am I. So that was like, it was out of fear I did it. And it is that thing had very profound impression on me because now I know that how people fear public speaking. Talking to a friend is different, but when we know that all the eyes are towards you, that time it becomes a bit challenging. And it is very common to feel that people get scared of public speaking. So I would like to know from you, how many of you are scared of public speaking? If you can type in the chat. I don't know how to see that. Maybe the Harry can see it. If you can type it there, then maybe. Is there any way for me to see that? Oh.
Yes, you can just click on the chat button on the bottom. And okay, then you can see what people are writing.
Okay, I'm not able to find that option. Participants. Now the security video mute is there. Okay, that's okay. I need to, I think, maybe I need to come here to see because this input is very much required.
Yeah. Can you please also repeat the question again?
Okay, I'm not able to see the chat for some reason. Okay, never mind, no problem. I'll ask, and maybe if some inputs are there, Harry, will you please help me like what everybody is typing? If you can tell me in the brief, so that would be very helpful. Unfortunately, I'm not able to see the chat here. Is it okay?
Okay, cool.
Yeah, thank you, that's great. So let's start with the 10 tips. See, these 10 tips it is a kind of essence which I have like learned based on my years of experience, hundreds of mistakes, reading lot of books. So based on that, the whole essence is here today. And the first one is the 10 minutes talk. Now, have you ever noticed if you would have seen the LinkedIn videos or if you would have seen the TED Talks, did you observe something about it? If you can type it in the window, what is so special about the TED Talk or the LinkedIn learning videos?
They are really short and impressive.
Okay, they're very short and they're very impressive, yes.
Yeah, and Onur also shared they do not start with hello.
They do not start with hello, yes. They start directly go to the topic. Yes, that's right. One more interesting thing about it is that they are very short duration. 10 minutes talks are there, right? The LinkedIn videos are usually 3 to 5 minutes, and the TED Talks are not more than 18 minutes. There is a scientific reason behind it. The reason is that human attention span is not more than 10 to 15 minutes. So whether you are giving a presentation to management in a meeting, or you're giving a public talk, or you're talking to anybody, the first 10 minutes are very crucial for any kind of presentation. So use those 10 minutes very optimally. You prioritize your topics. If you have hundreds of things, prioritize what are the 2 most important things I want to talk about, and then remove the unwanted things from that presentation or their talk, whatever talk you want to do. Like for example, I had hundreds of tips. I prioritized 10 of them. From 10 also, I have made in a sequence. The first and the most important tip is that the 10 minutes talk, your talk should not be more than 10 minutes. Other than that, you can use other 35 minutes for less important thing. But whatever is important, focus first 10 minutes on that. This is very important, especially when we are like surrounded by a lot of distraction with phone and emails and like a lot of things happening around. It's good to talk about the most important thing in first 10 minutes and then finish it off. This is the first and the most important tip. The second one is stand up. Okay, now I would like to know how many of you do you really stand up and give the presentation or give the public talk? If you can please type in the chat window. I'm trying to connect through the phone so that maybe I can see the comments.
Neetu, at the bottom, can't you see chat button?
No, I can't see. That is, are you able to see my screen? I'm not able to see the chat.
Yeah. That's because you're.
Yeah, that's the reason I think. So I'm not able to see the chat window. I'm just trying to. I'm so sorry for this. These are the challenges which comes.
No problem. I'm trying to help. I will try to help you if people write something to chat module.
No, I'm presenting. That's the reason I'm not able to see. Just a second.
Yeah. You don't have any response
yet.
I
don't have that
by the way.
option. That option is not coming. It's quite strange. Then I'm not able to see the chat.
Hijran agrees with us. She prefers to stand up while presenting, I guess. Sema says she prefers to sit while she's presenting something.
That's okay. No issues. No issues. Okay, I'm just trying to connect through the mobile. Maybe I'll be able to do that one. Okay, so like how many are able, like they do stand up and speak?
We got 2 responses. One prefers to sit down while presenting something.
Okay.
And Sema prefers to sit down. Kurtuluş says it depends on the situation. By the way, so that you can see what's written on the chat module by your phone.
Okay, now I can see. I connected through my mobile, so now I think I should be able to see. I'm so sorry for this thing. Okay, so that's interesting. See, there is a scientific reason behind standing up and speaking. The first is that have you ever seen any leader, like if you see any of the great speaker, any of the influencer, they stand up and they speak. There is a scientific reason for it, because you can focus better. It's a subconscious trait. You can focus better. You can think better when you are standing up. It's a more of a flight and fight mode. So when we are standing, we are ready to take any action anytime. So it is always good to stand up, especially when you're making an important talk. Stand up, whether it's a meeting room or it's a stage, or you're like trying to talk about any social issue in the park or anywhere. It's always good to stand up and speak. You can focus better. You can remember things for longer time when you're standing rather than sitting. Webinar, no option, I need to sit. Otherwise, I love to stand up and speak. And the other thing, the psychological thing is that when we are sitting, we are losing the ground. When you're standing means you're like a knight, you're standing there and you're saying, this is my ground, I hold the ground. So always prefer when you stand up in speaking, that has completely different psychological, subconscious impact than when you sit and talk. Sitting is more relaxed and like, I'm not quite passionate about this subject. That's why I'm sitting and relaxed. But when I'm standing and talking means I can bring all the energy. It is there. The second reason is I can use my vocal cord very nicely. I can use the impact of my pitch, voice. I can use hand gesture. I can move around and I can deal with the difficult situations. Like there is altogether a different topic which I take that is on how to deal with difficult situation in public speaking, like somebody's trying to trouble you or something. So when you're standing and talking, there are many ways to deal with such situation over there. You can cover the area and you can move around. You can use the space for yourself. So it's always good to stand up and talk. I have one request for all of you. Those who are not standing up and talking until now, whatever the next talk you are giving, whether it's in the meeting room or it's in the public or on the stage you are planning, try to give a talk by standing and see what difference does it make. For me, it makes huge difference because I can use the space. This is my area, my arena. I can use this space. So that makes a lot of difference. And there are a lot of research are based on that, that proves that standing up and talking is far better than sitting and talking. The third strategy, which is very interesting, is that I was reading this book, if you're able to see the subliminal, I have put in the last slide also. This book has very interesting strategy, very interesting research they have mentioned is that when people talk on the high pitch, our subconscious mind perceives it as a threat because our human brain is evolved like that. When we were living in the cave and if any threat is there, somebody will scream and say, hey, don't go there. There is a danger, lion is there. So we scream. Now human brain is evolved for that. When anybody screams or shouts or talking in a high pitch, our brain subconsciously perceives this as a threat. And we don't feel like we are more scared of that person than ready to listen to that person. So high pitch is always no, no, no for public speaking. Other reason is that reminds you of your mom when you don't do the homework and your mom say, you have not done the homework. What are you doing? Or maybe your boss screaming at you. That reminds you for that. Or maybe the spouse that you forgot to do something, right? So high pitch is always no, no, no for public speaking because people will get scared. They will not listen. They will not pay attention. There is a very interesting study. If you search on the Google, we human judge anybody in first 3 seconds. We judge anybody in first 3 seconds of our first meeting. And after that, what we do is just we justify what we have judged. If I perceive you first 3 seconds, if I thought that, okay, Harry is a good person. So other 2 hours which I am spending with him, my brain will just keep justifying why he's a good person because he's doing like this. Why he's a good person because he's doing like this, like this, like this, like that. So first 3 seconds when you meet somebody, that is the most important time. And if you're talking in a very high pitch in the beginning, definitely nobody's going to listen because they'll get into fight and flight mode. So their brain will shut down and they'll be into more scared mode. That is a high pitch. The other perception of like our brain, the subconscious perception is that the low speed. You would have seen like some people talk in a very slow way, like you should be speaking like an angel. Now, when somebody talks like that, either we fall asleep or we get bored, right? There is in this book, there is a beautiful research on it. I would highly recommend if you read this book. It says that, the research says that when we talk in the low speed, people perceive it as you're a dumb person, you're not a subject matter expert, you're not intelligent enough, you don't have enough knowledge. So you're taking your time to think and then speak about it. So the low speed, the slow speed is highly no. High pitch, no, no. Low speed or the slow speed is absolutely no. If you want to make an impression on people, and to have the high speed, what you need to be subject matter expert so that you know what you're talking, the flow of thought is there, and you can create sentences very fast and say one after another very fast. So this is a very, very important point. That's why I kept it at the third place in this webinar. Low pitch and high speed. This is the best for any public speaking. Like something you can say that Morgan Freeman kind of voice, which is a low pitch, but the high speed. He talks when he gives any documentary, he talks so fast, but the pitch is low. So that becomes very attractive and we sit and listen to him. So this is very much important. And the first 5 strategies are like purposely prioritized because they have the 80% of influence on your subconscious mind when we go for any public speaking. If you have any questions, please like keep asking in between by typing in the chat, and maybe the Harry can take that one.
By the way, Neetu, we have a question from Hijran.
Yes, please.
During online meetings, what can we do to attract the attendance?
Okay, that's very important because in fact, I take a lot of complimentary workshops and I realize that people should close their camera and they just walk. Like, I don't know whether they are there or not. And it's a bit challenging. I feel like I'm talking to the laptop. I understand that. They say few strategies are there. The first one is that I keep asking the question, if I feel that some person is not there, so I purposely take that person's name and I ask. It works in face-to-face strategy also. Like suppose, for example, like say because he's not there and he's not paying attention in the meeting or the public talk and I know him. So I'll give example like this. I'm not looking at him, but I'm saying, so people, what do you think about it? Suppose one person is there with the name because, or somebody like that John is there. So the moment you take the name of that person gets conscious and starts paying attention. The other is that humor, that is in another slides which is coming up. So humor, when people feel happy, they enjoy, they pay attention. If they're getting bored, they just switch off the camera and they get busy with their phone or the other unrelated work. So that helps a lot. In between, we have to have some of like professional jokes, something funny, some stories to talk about. That helps us a lot to keep the attention of audience. And it works in online meetings as well.
Thank you so much.
The next strategy is telling a story. I would like to hear from you, how many of you like the story over a boring lecture? If you can tell me that you like the stories or you like the boring lecture in the classroom or your boss is giving, or maybe the CEO of the company is telling. If you can put in the chat, story, of course. Okay, I'm waiting for some more comments. Okay, story. Okay, that's interesting. Few more comments. At least one person say that you like the lecture. No, nobody is saying anybody likes lecture. What is happening? Okay. Yes, story. That's good. One person has put the very beautiful question that I'll take in a while. So everyone loves story. That's interesting. Now, Why do we love stories? Have you ever thought about it? There is a scientific research based on it. See, these 10 strategies are not only like based on my experience. I learned it from my experience, my hundreds of mistakes, and I have done a lot of study. I have read a lot of research, and based on that, these 10 strategies I have designed. Our human brain is evolved for stories, whether it's like it's in the cave paintings are there, or the grandma stories are there, or the mythological stories are there, or the legends are there, anything, or the moral stories. Our brain, human brain, is evolved for stories. We think in stories. We try to remember things in stories. In fact, if you look back to your day, how did you spend your day? You will think that if you see it, it will be like a story, like a logical flow is there in that story. If you want to tell somebody what happened, I got up in the morning, then I did this, then there was a problem, then I solved the problem. So you are telling like a story. Human brain is evolved for stories. The reason is that it is easy to remember. We can remember easily when it comes to stories. And there is a logical flow. If anybody gives a raw number or the lot of numbers or the data, we will not understand anything. But if anybody can make story out of that, then people pay more attention. It's easy for us to remember, whether it's like the simple story of the hare and the turtle, or any story, if you remember, which grandma has told. So try to tell the story of your public talk or the presentation or anything, whether it's a finance or it's a KPIs or it's the success of a software you're giving, anything you're talking about, try to make a story out of it. And a story has a logical flow in it. Logical flow means there are some characters which perform the story. There is some setting. Then there is a problem, because without problem, there is no story. If you see any of the stories, there was some problem and somebody solves that problem. So you're talking about the problem. Then the next step is there is somebody who is solving that problem. And after solving the problem, that person has evolved. The person is not the same as when that person started. After going through the journey, that person has evolved. That person has become something else. Now, the same concept you can use for any presentation. If you're talking about, say, financial presentation, you can say initial market status was this much. This was the problem we were facing. We resolved it like this. And this is what we are currently. The organization has learned it like this. It could be anything. You think of any topic, any presentation which you give, and think of it that how can you make a story. So I want you to spend 2 minutes with yourself. Think of the presentation you know, talk you give, and how you can make story out of it. Because if you can make a story out of it, people will remember it. There is a science behind it. So people will remember it for a very long time than when you present the raw data to them. So I want to see in the chat if you can put that what kind of presentation do you give, and can you make story out of those presentation or topics you are having? I think one person is not able to see the presentation. That person is only able to see themselves. Maybe it's related to your setting.
Yes, he should get back to presentation screen. Maybe he's just...
So if you can type in that what kind of presentation do you give, and like what do you make story out of it, or can you make, at least after this discussion, can you make some story out of your presentation or the topic you give? Whether it could be any launching any new software or mobile app or financial results or the KPI, it could be anything, or talking about the enterprise risk. Can you make a story out of it? If you can make a story out of presentation, then people will love to listen it and remember it. I'm waiting for some comments. If you can type it, so because it's difficult to connect with audience in the online discussion, so I depend on the chat. And there is one interesting study also. When the speaker tells their personal stories, people are more interested in knowing their personal stories than knowing any hypothetical or imaginary fiction stories. Either the real life people's stories or they are interested in the stories of the speaker. For example, I told you the story of what happened when I went to Europe for the first time to speak. It was, I think, in Geneva, and I was nervous, and what mess I did over there, mess up I did over there. So maybe you will remember that story. So people are always interested to know your personal stories. I'm not able to see any comments. So if you can type it, like if you can make some stories with your work. Okay, that's very interesting. You make a presentation about the audit findings. That's very interesting. How will you make the story out of it? What was the before scenario? What were the, like, if you're talking about that, how that finding is going to add value to the organization. So what is the before scenario, before you gave the audit finding? What are the findings given? And what will happen if you close those findings? Where the organization will reach, or it has already reached? Whether it's a financial benefit, it's more secure organization, it's more resilient, more sustainable organization. So you can talk about the whole journey. The moment you talk the whole journey, that's a story, because you're telling before scenario, what changes you did, and finally you reach to a conclusion where you are not the same person. The organization is not the same again. So it has evolved. So telling story, it's very impactful strategy. Oh, the next is learning is directly proportional to humor. You know, I'll tell you one thing, whenever I make any presentation, the slides are very simple. Okay, there is nothing, it takes hardly half an hour to put everything in the PPT. Finding images, I spend 8 to 10 hours in finding the appropriate image. Because if a person...
Neetu, by the way, we have new comments.
Okay.
Yeah, Jem says, mostly presenting audit results, KPIs, KRIs, risk data, but no stories. So those are really serious subjects.
Yes.
And
it's very interesting. You know, I love this question a lot. See, when you're talking about the audit results or KPIs or KRIs or risk, it's such a beautiful story you can make. You can say that this is the current organization. It has these many risks are there. What will happen if this risk gets materialized? What will happen? That scenario you have to present. And if we close those risks, what will be the benefit we will get out of it? So this is a story you are telling. If I just make a presentation with the first slide, I'm telling this is the risk, we have to close it, it's high risk. There is no story. It's like a blank page for me. I don't understand. Okay, I'll listen. I'll say, okay, person XYZ, do it, and I'll walk out of the room. But when I tell the story, I'm telling this is our organization. These are the challenges. These are the risks. What will happen if this risk gets materialized? What will be our status financially, security wise, for sustainability, for existence in the market? What will be the result out of it? And what if we close it, what will happen? And if you're talking about the risks which are already closed, it's a beautiful story you can make. These were the risks. We did these things, A, B, C, D to close it. And finally, this is the status. We are more resilient and we are more secure and more sustainable now. So we are far ahead of our competitors in that category. So that's a kind of a story we are telling. So story you can make out of anything, any topic you feel that it's blunt, it's boring, you can still make story out of it. It's a very interesting and very good question, because many people feel when it comes to numbers, you can't make story. And I personally love numbers. Actually, with numbers, you can make such a beautiful story, because numbers speaks for themselves. You don't have to speak about it. Suppose, for example, if the profitability was 5%, we did A, B, C, D things, and we faced these challenges, and then now the profitability has increased by 50%, and these are the learnings. This is what I'm telling, the whole story, the curve I'm telling. So it's beautiful, and it's a lovely question. I think there was one question above. I would like to take that before we proceed. During presentation, I usually speak too fast. Okay. I think the different words, but the same meaning sentences. You know, this is a question from Melis. The best strategy is, I always tell my all like public speaking students, record your session and see yourself, reflect on yourself. Believe me, when I do the YouTube recording, and I have seen many videos, I don't smile. I feel I'm smiling, but in the video, it looks I'm not smiling. So nowadays I make sure I keep a big smile, and that's why I put a dark lipstick so my smile can be seen easily. It's quite silly, but yeah, that's what I do. So when we see our own video, we reflect on ourselves and we do. Secondly, I want to show you, this is a very good question you asked. There is a copy here. There is a lot of paper on my desk. This is a copy, if you can see that one. This is a copy I keep on my desk. It's in very bad condition. I write almost all the words. I read a lot of books and I write sentences and words. In fact, here you can see some sentences, if you can see that one. If I'm reading a book and I come across some beautiful sentence, and I feel that this is a better way of expressing myself than rather than saying a simple sentence, I write that sentence down. I don't remember it first time. I don't remember it second time. I don't remember it third time, but I remember it fourth time. So start doing it, whether you're reading a newspaper or any book or any article. If you come across some sentence or some word which is so beautifully explained, try to write it down. Maybe you will not use it for first, second, third, fourth, fifth time, but sixth time, definitely your brain will remember it and you will use it. The second thing I do is that this copy is always there on my desk and I keep reading it randomly. Whenever I write any article, I just go through this once and I see, is there any word I can replace with? Is there any sentence I can use some good sentence? So like we can use it. Even good phrases I keep writing in this one. It's in very bad condition now. But that's one strategy that has worked for me so that I don't have to use the same word again every time. But again, it's an acquired skill. You can't master it in one day. There is no quick fix for it. You have to keep practicing for long. Then eventually it will come to your brain, like brain will automatically create such sentences for you. So I hope that will help you. Now the question for you. Okay. Learning is directly proportional to humor. Why do you think, what do you think that, how does humor help in learning? I would like to hear from you because I can't see you, so I'm depending on chat. How do you feel that the learning is directly proportional? It depends on humor. The people, when they laugh more, they learn more. And that is the reason, there is a science behind it. That is the reason I spend 8 to 10 hours in 8 to 10 hours in finding the pictures for my presentation rather than sentences. Humor makes them think, yes. That's interesting. I would like to hear from you so that I know that you are there and you have not switched off the camera and gone. Yes, serotonin helps learning. That's perfectly right. Yes, that's interesting. Yes. When we laugh, our brain secretes the hormones which encourages us for collaboration, learning, and feel good thing. So when we laugh, whether it's a small smile, like by reading this joke, if a small smile has come on your brain, this means the dopamine is getting secreted in your brain, the serotonin is getting secreted in your brain, and your brain is very much excited to learn something new, collaborate, join, and participate. It happens. And that is the reason many times people, you would have seen the good speakers, they tell their personal silly things they did or something funny so that the audience can laugh and they can engage better. And it works for the emotional things also. If I tell any of my sad story, like in which you start almost crying, in that also, you will be more engaged. If I can touch your emotions, whether it's a laughing or it's a crying, anything, then you will be more attentive. So next time, if you're giving a public talk, or if you are giving any presentation in your office, try, if it is like 40 minutes, try to crack some jokes in between. Maybe it could be as silly as if somebody is sleeping in the meeting room, you can say, oh, this person, John, is sleeping in the meeting room. John, do you need some pillow? So like that person will get up and everybody will look at that person in life. So it could be as subtle as this, or it could be any office joke, professional joke it could be. Yes, it is very lightly and easy to grab, and our brain feels that when we laugh, we feel it's easy to learn. It's not very difficult concept. So try to consciously introduce humor in your presentation, whether it's a KPI, it's financial, it's audit related also. Maybe in audit related, there are a lot of jokes available. You can include those slides, like audit finding doesn't kill anybody, or closing the audit finding doesn't kill anybody. You can put some office joke like that one, something funny. And when we laugh, the impression is long lasting. In fact, it's the other way around. People will remember the joke. And whenever they will tell about that joke to anybody, they will think, their brain will trigger about what learning they have associated with that joke. So it's the other way. The learning is not related to joke. Actually, the joke has related the learning to. It's the other way around. So try to introduce some humor in your presentation, especially which is important. Spend 50 to 60% of time in finding good jokes. In fact, I will tell you, I have a separate folder in my office laptop and home laptop where I keep all the images. It's the folder name itself is the image folder is there. Now my daughter has also started doing that because she learned it. So in that, whenever I find any joke, randomly I search and I feel, oh, this is good one. I can use it in some presentation. I just go and put it there. So it's like a bank for me for any kind of presentation jokes. It's always there ready for me. So that also you can try, and that really helps a lot. So this was a strategy number 5. I hope we are very much on time. The next one, the most difficult one, smile. Once I was going in Bangalore and I read it, that smile is a curve which makes everything straight. I would like to hear from you. How many of you do you manage to smile while giving a presentation or giving a public talk? Okay, if you make a joke and nobody laughs, it would be nightmare. But that's funny. You know why? Because if you tell a joke and nobody laughs, you can laugh at yourself. That time you can say, oh, it was such a bad joke, nobody laughed. Ha ha ha. You start laughing because laughing is contagious. So the moment you laugh, others will start laughing. They will think you are so silly that you did not make a good joke. So that itself will become a joke. I'm trying my best smile. That's superb. As I said earlier, that we judge people in the first 3 seconds of our meeting. In the first 3 seconds, it's a very less time. Even before I open my mouth, you will judge me whether you want to listen to me or not, or whether it's worth spending your life's 1 hour on me or not. So if I'm not able to impress you in first 3 minutes, you're not going to listen at all. So this is very important. Before even I open mouth, I can smile. The moment I smile, your brain will perceive it as I'm friendly, I'm approachable, and you can listen to me. I'm not a threat to you. Again, there is research based on it because how our subconscious mind works. If somebody smiles, we talk to that person. I think in the Netflix or in the Discovery, I have seen this research, this study also. They have put 1,000 photographs on a wall and they ask people to identify the one person, like the first person their eyes goes on that. And out of 1,999 were smiling faces or happy or laughing. Only one face was frowning face like this in anger. And all the people, those who participated in their research, they identified that frowning person and not the smiling people, everybody. The reason was that, again, how our brain has evolved. I love to study about subconscious mind and brain. That's why I'm giving emphasis on that. Our brain is evolved for survival. Think of it. And survival means I don't have any threat with the person who's smiling because that person is not going to harm me. But I have a threat with the person who's frowning, who's staring at me, right? So my brain is evolved like that. Out of 100 people in the train or in the bus or in the airport, if one person sitting very far from me and that person is staring at me, looking somewhere else and that person is there, suddenly my eyes will go there, right? You observe this thing whenever you go in the public bus or airport or the train, you see, or you try to stare somebody, you're very far and try to stare at somebody, you will see that person will automatically turn and look at you. Why it happens? Because this is how our human brain is evolved. We are evolved for survival. So anywhere we see a threat, we look at that person. And we can use this research in our favor by not being threat to the other person, by smiling, by making them feel that I'm friendly, I'm ready to listen, I'm ready to take ideas from you, right? So smile, it's not that difficult. You can practice in front of mirror like this. First you can fake it and then eventually you will make that one. The other reason is that smile builds the confidence. When you smile, your brain says, oh, everything is in control, I'm calm, I can do this thing. See, I'm smiling, I'm so happy. So you're deceiving your brain. Okay, you're fooling around with your brain and you're saying that, and you're fooling around to your brain and you're saying that, okay, everything is fine, I'm not anxious, I'm not worried, I'll do good job, this thing. So try this out before going for any public speech, any public speaking assignment. If you're going, try to meet the audience, smile, hi, how are you, like that. You talk to them, try to understand. When you go on the stage, even before you are introduced by the moderator, don't stand like this. Give a smile. Look at everybody as though they are your friends, they are waiting to hear from you. When you smile, you are creating a connection with them, you're building your confidence, and you're reducing your anxiety. It works 100% of the times. So all the best. Next time, smile cute like this baby. It's a very effective strategy. Actually, I love all the 10 strategies here. And this one is my favorite because I'm still working on getting lean. What do you mean by go lean? I would like to hear from you. What is a lean presentation? Okay, what about the board meeting? See, maybe in the board meeting, we can't have some very big joke, but very subtle joke we can have. And smiling is always good. I think smile is something which is acceptable in all scenarios, even in the worst, like if you're going for some funeral, still a small smile is acceptable because that shows the sympathy to the other person. So smile, whether it's a board meeting room or it's anything, the smile is always acceptable. Maybe you'll not have a big smile, you'll have a little smaller smile. So how do you think, what is the meaning of the lean presentation? If you can type in the chat, I'm just waiting for some responses. What do you think?
Can you please repeat the question again?
What do you think? What is a lean presentation? How we can go lean in the presentation or in the public talk? How can we make our presentation more slim and more crisp and more lean? What do you think? Can we reduce the number of slides? Can we reduce the number of data? Can we reduce maybe the pictures or the words? How can we make a presentation lean? Short sentences, yes, it's very good. Looking for a few more responses. A brief content, maybe, yes, superb. Focus on main subject, no unnecessary data or tables, yes. So, very good, superb. The first is use pictures or graphs wherever possible. This is the best way to reduce lot of talk and long sentences and the raw data. Use pictures and graphs wherever possible. That's the best way. Because there is a saying, a picture is worth 1,000 words. So you can use the pictures for expressing, or the graphs or the charts you can use. The other is, there is a rule of 5 by 5. Did you notice something about my presentation? Very few sentences are there, and pictures are more humorous, and they are telling some story. In each one, there is, like in this picture, it is telling a story. This person has bought the laptop, but that person is not able to use it because of not being lean, and that's why he has to return it. So every picture is telling a story, and very few sentences are there. There is a rule of 5 by 5, which says that your presentation should not have more than 5 sentences. And each sentence should not have more than 5 words in it. If it is more than that, that is the worst thing you can do. So 5x5 rule is there. I prefer 3x3, but sometimes we have to go for 5x5. And the other is small title. Don't make big title. The financial results of 2020 with the improvement like that. Don't write it. 2020 results, or just write results. That's it. Or maybe the 2020 you can write. Don't write, because anyways your slide details will have other things into it. So try to make your title as crisp, as small as possible. Why? Because you want people to listen to you and not simply go and read the slides. What is the use of making such slide? You can just send on the email and they can read it and understand it. But there is no human connection in that, right? So small titles, once my manager told me, if you can't explain them, confuse them. So the other benefit of having the small title is that people will be confused. When they'll be confused, they will sit and listen to you to understand what exactly does it mean, right? So if you can't explain them, just confuse them with small titles or some vague title. And the important thing is one idea per slide, not more than one idea. So don't clutter your slide with lot of information, because then what will happen? People will forget what you're saying. They'll just shut down and they'll keep reading. Okay, what is this thing? I'm not able to connect this with that thing. They'll be confused all the time. So it's good to make one idea per slide and not more than 10 slides in any case, because 10 ideas is too much. You have 10 minutes to talk about the important thing, and after that it won't be, people will not pay much attention. Bang, ta-da. Start with your presentation with some bang. Again, the same logic is there. People spend 3 seconds to judge you. So if we can bang somebody, if we can tell a story or tell something funny or tell something thought-provoking in the beginning, then people will pay attention, they will grab their attention. So first 3 seconds are very important. First few seconds, I would say. First 3 seconds, you can smile, you can't do the bang. But bang in the sense, something which is, wow, they are going to tell something important. I should listen to it. I've never heard about it. I think it's going to be very interesting, like that. So the bang has to be something which is related to your topic and the thought-provoking. For example, if we talk about the audit finding, the same, the boring, like we feel that audit and risk and KPIs and numbers are boring. If we talk about, say, 2020 results and how to do the bang, the first slide should say, what did we do to sustain in the, what did we do to increase the market share by 30% when the world, the competitors have lost their market share by 50%? What did we do in 2020? Now people will think, okay, so we did something special which others have not done. So let's listen to the story. You're telling the title of the story, very important thing, that it becomes your bang. Like you can talk about the financial results. You can talk about the KPI. Like KPI, you can say, we achieved the 5 KPIs out of 50. What happened? That could be your title. Why we achieved only 5 KPI out of 10? That could be the thing. Or if you're launching a software or a mobile app, you can write like this. It will make, you can sleep peacefully with this app. Now people will think, how a mobile app will help me to sleep peacefully? Then you will reveal this story slowly, that it will manage tasks for you. It will do this for you. So you will be more relaxed and you can sleep. So now you can start telling the story. But the bang is something which, what is in it for me? WIIFM. Okay. It means, why should I listen to you? What are you going to give me in next 1 hour or 10 minutes that I listen to you? What's in it for me? So you have to think of bang as what is in it for you, how the audience is going to get benefit out of it. And the bang has to be at the 2 stages. The first is the beginning of the presentation. And the second one is at the end of the presentation. Beginning of the presentation, it has to be catching, catching to grab the attention. In the end of the presentation, it has to be more thought-provoking, which people can think over, they can sleep over, and they'll keep thinking about it and okay, that makes sense. I think I should go to the next level. So we have to leave them with some thought in the end. So bang has to be at the 2 levels. Oh, no words. We are talking about subconscious mind and we are talking too much about words. So what is the meaning of the no words? How much do you think that the non-verbal communication is effective? Can you tell some number? The verbal communication or the non-verbal communication? If we have say 100%. So how much is a non-verbal communication? If you can type in the chat, 80, 70, 30, 80%. That's interesting. Anything else? Like the non-verbal communication, how much it is important? It is 93%. Our non-verbal communication in public talk or in anything, we talk, we communicate with people, it's 93%. And only 7% is your content, your numbers, your graphs, and everything else. So this is a huge number. That's the reason all public speakers and presenters, they pay more attention on non-verbal communication, whether it's learning with the humor, or it's like the 10-minute talk, or standing up or the talk, or using the low pitch and high speed, anything. These all comes under non-verbal communication. You're standing and talking, words are same, but it has a totally different impact. So non-verbal communication, you have to pay more attention if you want to be more influential public speaker. It comes in three forms. The first is the body movement, which includes your hands, your eyes, your face, and the gesture you are making. This thing. Now, it's very detailed topic. I don't think we can discuss about it today. But in the short few tips I'll give you, which are very important, I'm just moving a little bit back. If you talk about the hand, if you keep the palm, I hope you're able to see me, right? I think you can see me because my camera is on. Okay.
Yes,
so like, you see, if your hand is open like this, facing to the sky, this means you're more open-minded. Okay. So if you want to get more ideas from people, or you want to welcome somebody, you do like this. If you want to suppress somebody or to dominate somebody, we do like this. Like we cannot tell our boss, please keep quiet. We can't say that, right? So the same way, we say, okay, please, can you be like, can I go ahead with my topic? We can tell our boss like that, right? So when the palm is facing the sky means you are more open-minded, people more accept this gesture. If you put the palm down, it is like you are trying to suppress them. Don't use this gesture while doing public speaking. Pointing finger, absolutely no. This gesture means you're stopping somebody. Can you please stop like this? This is also not to be used because people will shut down their brain and they'll not listen to you. So always the open hand with the palm facing sky is the best gesture. Now you can use it in any way. You can say, I'm welcoming your ideas. I love your stories. So in any way, you're keeping your palm up. This is very important. Eyes. Eyes are the best thing because without saying, you can say everything with your eyes if you're not putting glasses like me, because people find it difficult to see that. That's why I need to do sometimes eye makeup so people can see my eyes through glasses. First thing is that make eye contact. In camera, it's difficult to do, but in real life, when you meet, please try to make eye contact, because if I'm looking in your eyes and talking, you will feel that there is a connection. I respect your time. I respect what you're saying, and I'm ready to listen to you. You can use the same strategy other way also. If in speaking, somebody is trying to trouble you, or you want to avoid that person because that person is asking so many questions and that person is taking your time, just don't look at that person. Like suppose, for example, that person is sitting there and I'm looking like this, I'll look, I'll go up and I'll come down. I'm just avoiding that person, right? So we can do that also. So you can use your eyes magically. You can give a blank look like the third child you can see from the left. That child is a blank look. If you give the blank look, means you're not interested in what other person is saying, right? Don't stare at people. Eye contact doesn't mean you have to do like this. Yes, I'm listening to you. Again, people will go into fight and flight mode. They'll get scared. They'll not listen. So this is very important. And the gestures are there. Many gestures are there. Maybe some other day we will discuss about it. For completely one talk for nonverbal communication. The other is the paralanguage, which comprise of tone, pitch, sounds, and pause. The pause we give between talk for people to think and reflect and introspect, for that we give. And this is very important in public speaking, especially when you tell your story, some sensitive story, emotional story, or your success story. After the story, give a pause. What happens? People will start thinking because they are listening to your story, but they are seeing themselves in your story. When you tell the story and give a pause, they see the same story in their brain with them as a special, that main character of the story. So try to give a pause. If you're talking about financial data after showing the results, just give a pause. Let people think, let people digest that information. This is very important. Tone and pitch we have spoken about. What did we speak about the tone and pitch? Can anybody write it? High pitch is good or the low pitch is good? Which one is good? Let me see, nobody's sleeping. High pitch is good or the low pitch is good? Yes, and the speed, its speed should be high or the low? Yes. So we have to speak little faster than the normal talk we do with each other. It has to be little faster, but not super fast. And the pitch has to be little low, not like very like this. It's like pricking your ears, not like that. Like mom screaming when you don't do homework, or the boss screaming for something, not like that. The next thing is the proxemics. Body spacing, facing, and leaning. Now this is very important. When body spacing means what? When you're on the stage, how much area you are taking, that is a body spacing. You would have seen in the TED Talk, there is a red color carpet and speakers stand within that. They don't go out of the red color carpet. I love that one. Because so that the audience can focus on one place. If the speaker is going from one end to the other end of the stage, their neck will start paining and they can't pay attention. So this is very important. In the LinkedIn learning also, you would have seen people move their body as minimum as possible. You would have seen they are just moving their head little bit and little bit hand. Otherwise, they are standing still there. That is also part of body spacing. Other part is it how close you go to your audience. Sometimes you are standing on the stage. Sometimes I get down off the stage and go near the audience. Now, how close you want to go? Too much close is also not good. Too far is also not good. So you have to take a judgment call that time, again, based on the culture and different criterias, how much close you want to be that person when you're talking to your audience, when you're down the stage. These all comes under the body spacing. It should not offend the person, but person should feel that you're paying attention to that person. These all have very strong impact in public speaking. All these strategies, again, I'm emphasizing it's based on the subconscious mind research, emotional intelligence, and based on my own mistakes, hundreds of mistakes, which I have done and I learned from them. Facing, your face, your expression, and which way you are facing, it's also very important. And the leaning forward. When somebody is saying something and you lean, yeah, I would like to listen. Oh, I'm so thankful to you. So when you lean forward means you're showing your gratitude, that is a gratitude gesture. So leaning forward means you're giving more respect to that person. So these also comes under the body spacing. And these are non-verbal communication, which have 93% impact on it. Now, my favorite subject, subliminal mind. Subliminal is a beautiful word. Actually, it means, I have written it because sometimes I forget the exact definition. It is not recognized or understood by conscious mind, but still has an influence on it. And in this book, it's a beautiful book. I highly recommend, please read it. It has a lot of research based on that. How our brain takes decision and we think it's very logical, but the conscious mind can't explain it. So this is very interesting thing under it. Growth mindset, neuroplasticity, visualization, and grit. Now, have you heard about these things? If you can tell me any, have you heard about these terms before? Growth mindset, neuroplasticity, visualization and the grit. I hope nobody's sleeping. I don't see any comments, so. I'm waiting. Okay, I heard of high speed. I heard of visualization. Okay, that's interesting. Visualization, yes. So I'll start with the neuroplasticity. Okay, neuroplasticity means our brain is like a Play-Doh. It's like a plastic. It changes, it reconfigures, or it creates a different shape every time we have an experience or every time we learn something. Right now, we are having some communication with each other, although I'm not able to see you, but you're learning something. And when you're learning this thing, at this very moment of the time, your brain is creating new connection. And if you keep practicing, that connection will become stronger and stronger and stronger. It's exactly like when somebody walks for the first time in the forest, the trail is not there, but the person keeps walking 100 times over there, then the trail becomes very strong and prominent over there, right? So brain is also like that, human brain. 15 to 20 years back, people used to feel that somebody, our brain can't change. I'm born with this level of intelligence. I can't do things. This is all wrong, proven in like last 15 to 20 years. And we realize that scientists have realized that the human brain is like it's neuroplastic. Means every time we learn anything, the new connections are getting formed in our connection. Now, why it is important in public speaking? If you want to be a good public speaker, you need to keep practicing it. If you're doing it once in like 6 months, then the connection is very minimal. And if you're not doing it again, the trees and everything will grow there and the trail will be gone forever. Again, you have to start from the beginning. To try to look for opportunity, be opportunistic, speak in your community, within your friends, create a group and try to give some talk. Be the first one in the office. If somebody has to give presentations, yes, I am the first one to give the presentation. Go there and give the presentation. Because this is way to create a very strong connection of public speaking. So after 5 years or 2 years down the line, if you want to stand on the stage and give a TED talk, you will be 100 times more confident than what you are, because you're using this concept of neuroplasticity. The other is the growth mindset. It is the research is done by the Carol Dweck, and Dr. Carol Dweck has presented that there are two type of mindsets are there. Again, it's a big study. There is a book, one of my favorite books over here. So growth mindset says that we are not, our intelligence is not fixed. We can learn anything and everything during the course of our life. So it is not said that speakers are born, they are not made. Actually, speakers are made, they are not born. Public speaking, anybody can learn using right technique. You can learn if you have never spoken in front of even say 2 people, you can also learn that skill. Public speaking can be learned. And I would highly recommend, I have given all these 3 books. You read this book, it's life-changing book. It'll change your perception towards learning and your intelligence. So growth mindset talks about you can learn anything and everything in your life by practicing it. And the same concept is for the grit. Grit is, one more important thing. See, that's the benefit of making notes. In the growth mindset, we don't say, I don't know. I don't know public speaking. I'm not good at public speaking. I say, I'm not good at public speaking yet. Y-E-T. It's a very important word. Start using this word from today onwards for yourself, for your children, for your teams, for your spouse, for everybody. If somebody skating, I don't know skating yet, but I can learn it. Now, this completely changed the perception of brain, subconscious mind, and that has an impact on neuroplasticity. All these 4 are connected to each other. Sorry, I think taking too much time from this thing. This is a lovely topic. So please use the word yet. I'll type it here. Yet, it's a beautiful word. Use it for everything you are saying now if you don't know something. I don't know yet. I don't know how to give a good presentation yet, but I can learn it always. The other is the grit. Grit is something, this concept is introduced by Angela Duckworth, and she has done the research and she found out that the people, those who are successful in their life, they are not the most intelligent people. They are not the most affluent people. They are not the most smart people. They are the people, those who stick to a long-term goal day in and day out, even when they face n number of setbacks. They fail, they get hurt, they cry, and they get up again and try. They don't give up. So there is saying like, if you quit, then only you lose. So it is same as the grit. You set a long-term goal, you don't give up. For example, I have done some pathetic, horrible, I don't have any more adjectives for that. Public talks I have given, and I have been so stupid in that. But that was not bad. Why? Because I learned a lot from those mistakes, those silly things. And then I improve further and further. So grit is something, set a goal for yourself, whether it's speaking, whether it's swimming, whether it's anything in your life you want to do. And day in and day out, stick to it, no matter how many times you fail. Think of the neuroplasticity, growth mindset, and just go for it. And then beautiful thing, I love visualization. Before going for any public talk, see why it is important visualization? Because your brain can't distinguish between what is happening in real life and what is happening in your imagination. You would have seen when you see dreams at night and you get scared and you get up, right? Or suppose sometimes you would have seen the dreams that you are falling from a very high rise building and you get hurt and you feel pain also when you get up, right? Why does it happen? Because your brain can't distinguish between the reality and the imagination. And we can use the same thing in our benefit again. How we can use it? We will visualize something positive which is good for me. For example, if before going for talk, I'll visualize, okay, I'm going to talk like this, I'm going to dress up like this. Just close your eyes and try to imagine. I'm going to talk like this. I will be using this hand gesture. I'm talking about this topic. I'll give this example. I'll tell this story. I'll make people laugh like this. You are preparing yourself for that, right? Like the same way somebody asked it, how can I make the more beautiful sentences while talking and not using the same word? You can visualize for that. You can set a goal for yourself. The next 5 talks, I'm going to not repeat the same sentence. I'm going to use some new sentences for it. Make a copy like this one, write sentences, close your eyes and visualize it. I'm using so beautiful words, so beautiful sentences while talking, and I'm expressing myself more effectively to people. If you feel that your voice is very low, and so try to visualize that you're speaking in a very nice voice at the right pitch and the right speed you're talking about, you're taking the space, right? So visualize anything and everything you want to achieve in life, not only the public speaking. Why? It's because it prepares your brain. And once your brain does something again and again and again, it becomes so prominent that while doing the public talk, it will automatically come out. You don't have to write a script for the public talk. So these are some, this is the last one, and this is the most beautiful one. I love this. Now it's a revision time, but I'll not click on it. I want to listen from you. What are the top 10 strategies I have shared with you? Because if I click, it will come. That's why I'm not clicking. What are the top 10 strategies we discussed today? We are almost at the end. I'll wait for the listening from you. Write as many as possible. Like, I know you can't remember all 10, but high pitch, low pitch, high speed, okay. Stand up, yes, superb. That pink dress guy standing, that Hello Kitty one. What was the first slide? 10-minute talk, right? That lawyers, the mug holding mug one. Palm open, yes. 10 minutes, yes. 5 by 5, that interesting. Then fast. We learned so many things. Humor, yes. Make jokes, smile. Yes, that's interesting. Wow, I love this. So means nobody's sleeping, huh? Finally. So we learned about the 10 minutes talk. We learned about the standing up. We learned about low pitch and high speed. Again, this is about the practice. The more you practice, it will automatically happen. Storytelling, humor, smile, go lean, bang, nonverbal communication, and subliminal mind. So these are the 10 things we learned today. Now I leave you for like 30 seconds to you with this thing. If you want to reflect on it, then we'll proceed. And I have something important to share with you in the end. Just few seconds, you see these things. Superman, Hello Kitty, yeah. You know, I spent almost 8 hours. Believe me, I told Harry that the presentation is ready, but I'm still looking for pictures, the right pictures. So I spent almost 8 to 9 hours in finding the right picture for that slide. Because that time, spending that time is worth actually. Okay, so here we finished. And now these 3 books are there, which I highly recommend. I have read all 3 of them, all 3 I have it here. And I love all of them. So anyways, I will share this presentation, but you also please make note of this thing, take the screenshot. These are the most lovely books. Like, I love them. It's highly recommended books. And now the question time. If I don't understand your question, I'll ask you to re-articulate it in the form of answer. So if you have any questions, please feel free to ask. We are approaching the end. I think we took the question in between, so thank you. Okay. I don't think there are any questions because I think we already took it. So I have something this for you. If you can speak, you can influence. If you can influence, you can change lives. If you can change lives, you can change the world for better. So speaking is not only something that you do for your happiness, or that is there, of course, but speaking is very influential. You know, we touch each other's life in many ways, and speaking is one of the ways. You can change someone's life totally. You can change someone's perception by speaking. So it is so beautiful to speak and connect with people. And I wish all the best to all of you. Please speak and share your views, because world needs more speakers, more influencers like you. And there is no bad or good speaker. We all are learning. We are all in the journey. So this is so beautiful to discuss with you. And this is my contact details. Again, we have to end with some humor, right? We can't end with something serious. So these are my contact details. You can connect on the YouTube or LinkedIn or my website, but it's still under construction, my website. Maybe after some time you can see it. These are my contact details. Thank you so much. After all this, somebody has written great lecture. I thought somebody will say great story. Thank you so much.
Neetu?
Yes?
Neetu, we thank you for that impressive presentation. We are getting a lot of thank you messages from our attendees. Can you hear me, by the way?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. I appreciate that you accept our invitation and you share your presentation with our audience. It's a very important moment. It was a very important moment for us, and also it was very impressive what you shared with us. You know, because making public speech is a really important part of our job and what we do. It's very important, I guess. We also got a lot of special messages from our members that says that was the best webinar I have ever seen, or something like that. I will also share those comments with you. Yes, Cem, and if you want to say
Thank
something,
you very much.
We are okay to.
Thanks for this kind presentation to our guest. You have a really good topic for tonight. Neetu, thank you very much. Next week, I have talked with my one of dear friend, Murat Bostar. I think you know Murat Bostar. Yes, I'm president of İstanbul chapter, but I'm also a board member of Cloud Security Alliance team. And Murat Bostar is the president of Cloud Security Alliance board. For this reason, there's a new agreement will be in service. This is about cloud security. And this agreement, accreditation, this accreditation is the common study result of ISACA Istanbul and not ISACA Istanbul, ISACA Global and Cloud Security Alliance organizations. And also Murat Bostar is one of the writers of this accreditation. For this reason, I want to invite him to this meeting, and this is a common event. It will be placed on next Tuesday. We hope to see you, all of you, in that event. Thanks for everything. It's a great pleasure for us to see you next time. Thank you very much. And also, I send all my greetings and thanks to Neetu. Thank you very much. Thanks for your kind attention.
Thank you. And we finished on time. Happy for that. 1 minute before.
Okay.
Thank you. Good night.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.